Okay, let's get going. Okay, let's get this meeting to order. So, this meeting is being audio and video recorded. Motions are shown or examples. These may be omitted or amended. So, can I get a pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Alpert?
Here.
Mr. Case?
Here.
Dr. Krefferis? Charlotte Crane?
Yes.
Ms. DiTomaso?
Here.
Dr. Eberwein?
Here.
Mr. Emerson?
Here.
Mr. Farella?
Here.
Dr. Jelinas? Here. Mr. Locatell?
Here.
Ms. Latazuri?
Here.
Ms. Lounsbury? Here. Mr. Stewart?
Here.
Mr. Peters?
Here. Okay, we have a quorum. So, first up is a response from the audience. Anybody want to speak? No? Okay, so then student affairs. Lydia.
Hi everyone. Not much to report on from the last meeting, but both our boys and girls swim teams did win the Berkshire Southern title, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, two meetings a month don't give you a lot of time. Okay, so if anybody has any objections, I'd like to move the appointment in my part of the agenda up to the start of the meeting for the appointment of the Dalton vacancy. Anybody have any issues with that? Okay, so we have Sarah Tucker with us tonight, who is going for to fill Nicole Tucker's space. And Sarah, I don't know if you want to give us a few comments about why you want to be on the committee?
Sure. So Sarah Tucker, I have 3 children here in the at Greenville School right now. My oldest will be headed over to Nessicus next year. I have 1 child that's involved with special education and is receiving IEP services. Since my kiddos started, I've been trying to figure out ways to kind of be helpful to the school system, to be helpful to my children and their growth within the school system. So I've gotten to know Craneville to start. I've joined the PTO this year. I am the PTO president. I've helped our principal at Craneville kind of take over, bringing in some more diversity, equity, inclusion into our schools. We're bringing in readers. We've been trying to do at least every other month a story to all of the kids, either with a bilingual story or a story that really focuses on increasing belonging and our kiddos feeling included. We're working on the entrepreneur fair, bringing that into Greenville this year, and our 5th graders are going to be taking part of that. And I thought that was kind of a huge deal for us, just helping to encourage our kids to be readers, especially our reluctant readers, and helping to really expand on diversity, inclusion, and growth. Professionally, my background is I have my master's degree from the University of Albany in social work. I have my postmaster's certificate working with adolescents and children that are dealing with different challenges. I currently am a supervisor of the adolescent unit at the Department of Children and Families, and our focus is on working with children, primarily teenagers that are involved with the juvenile justice system. So oftentimes I'm kind of working with different school systems throughout Berkshire County and advocating for our kiddos there. So bringing it full circle, having that experience and coming from where I'm trying to kind of fix things, I would love to be able to kind of come in here and help create more positive change for our kids and our staff. So that's my spiel.
Thank you. Any questions for Sarah? Comments at this point? Can I get a motion?
I want to nominate Sarah Tucker to fill the position.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go through read the, what do you call it? The oath of office. Thank you. I couldn't get it out of my mind.
Hey, Rick.
They bowed out. Yeah, didn't want to go through the whole.
Sarah Tucker. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully discharge
Oh my God.
the charge of
The stress of the last book that I had. It's just been crazy.
incumbent on me as a school committee member. Best of my ability and understanding.
Yeah, no. Yes. Exactly. So much better. So much better.
Now, we could have saved money on the name tag if you kept this.
I know, just like that.
We could have saved money like 2 weeks ago when we discussed how we were going to do
We're
this.
supposed to.
Yeah, we can get out some white out.
Yeah.
Welcome, Sarah. Thank you for stepping up. We really appreciate it. And just so everybody knows, you're not related to Nicole, right? No.
Was my married name, now my divorced married name, but stuff.
Okay. All right, next up is the financial reports, the warrants.
Okay, so we have 4 warrants that were previously approved by the warrant committee. And any questions on those before I do gifts?
It's donations. Authorization of scholarship donations.
Be it resolved that the Central Berkshire Regional School Committee accept the following scholarship donation totaling $600 recommended by the district treasurer, and that consists of a $500 donation to the Marty Phillips Scholarship by James Conroy, and a $100 donation to the Mitchell Galing Scholarship by Rob Genoway.
Motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Secretary's report. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of January 11th, 2024.
So moved.
Any discussion? None, seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Moving right along. Superintendent's report.
Okay, so in addition to the numbers, and I'll just be very brief about the numbers that were in your packet, a couple of things. We're in the middle of benchmark testing right now, which is we do a couple of different primary tests. One is for more foundational skills, and one is more application of foundational skills, more critical thinking skills. And those match very closely with, well, they do match with the standards. They also really kind of mimic an MCAS test. So we're in the middle of that right now. Another thing I wanted to mention is that we are, as a district, participating in an initiative on the part of the federal government to make sure that schools or districts are providing families with free COVID tests. So our plan right now, so right now we've gotten our first shipment. Our plan is that those tests will go to the nurses because they need them right now. What they do is they pass them along to families when they see students that need them, or that they can test them sort of flexibly as they wish. And there isn't a limit. So if you have 3 children in your family and they're all, if they're not feeling well, they'll give them 3. But it's been a little bit of a challenge to make sure we have enough on hand. The second part of this, which we're hoping to do, we just put in another order, is really what we're hoping to send home a free kit with all students right before the February break. So we just got our first shipment. So we're happy that we were able to participate. We had to apply, and I have to give a shout out to Beth, because she did really all the footwork and legwork and is still doing that around that. The only other thing that I wanted to report out tonight are the numbers. So the numbers in our packet are listed by school and they're listed by town. These are the numbers that are used for our operational costs to figure out our operational budget, which is the 5-year rolling average. These are also the numbers that are used to determine capital expenditures. They are the numbers that we give you preliminary numbers. These are the numbers that we show as of October 1st. I think approximately, if you compare us to where we were around this time last year, I think we're up about 23 students, so we're growing. Little by little, we're growing. And I don't have a whole lot more to say about these unless you have questions about these, unless you have questions about them. Okay. I don't have,
Question about the COVID tests. Are those
Yes.
provided by the government, or do we have to buy them?
they're provided by the government. They're free. I should have said that. They're free. So they're free for us and they're free for our families. Yeah, it's a free service.
Thank you.
Leslie, I know you said that we've grown since last year. I think it would be interesting to see what the numbers were for last school year, and then maybe the year before that, just to start looking at some trending, what grades where. I think it's just good information to have. But
What I can tell you, and I don't have the exact numbers, what I can tell you is, and it's also in our budget presentation,
Yep.
Beckett Washington is actually down probably about 9 or 10 students. Wahconah is actually is maintaining, so they might be down 2 or 3 students, and everybody else is sort of on the up. So that 25 is really it's pretty even between the other schools, but I can get those exact numbers for you.
okay.
Okay.
Can you really briefly remind us the COVID protocols, if you test positive, close contact, the whole?
So the COVID protocols are pretty much the same, so that if you test positive, you're home for 5 days. You have to stay home for 5 days. Or unless if on day 6, you are still testing positive or you're still symptomatic, you wouldn't come back. So you basically are home for 5 days from the time you test positive. And then from that point on, you can come back to school. We can recommend that students wear a mask for a certain amount of time, but we can't require it. So that's not a requirement on the part of the district.
Thanks.
So basically, you come back after that initial 5 days. You come back when you are testing negative or you're symptom free.
Anybody else?
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Thanks. Next up is me, and we took care of the big part. The only thing else I have in this section is just to remind you guys that on the 31st, we're having the training, and that's going to be at Messicus with Liz LaFond. It's MASC training. It's going to be very valuable. So pizza will be provided, so hopefully everybody can make that. That's next Wednesday. And that's all I have. So now we go to the subcommittee reports. So I think curriculum first. I don't think we had met.
Hi, so curriculum hasn't met since our last school committee meeting, but we did meet before the prior school committee meeting.
I
There-
reported on it last meeting.
Oh, you
when
did?
Yes.
Okay.
Rather than repeat.
Okay,
you
all
know.
right, no, I wasn't sure, because,
Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
so we haven't
Brought you
met. Our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for 7 PM on March 9th, or February 9th, but we yet to have a topic pop up for that meeting, so that might get canceled. And then we also scheduled a meeting for March 13th and on Zoom, where we're going to go over the winter benchmarking and have another report out of the curriculum council.
Thanks, Al.
That's it.
Finance.
Finance has not met since our last school committee meeting, but we are meeting next week on the 30th, which is Tuesday, here at 6:30.
All right. Thanks. And up to policy.
So we have not met since the last meeting. I'm going back and forth with Liz. Hopefully on the 7th, we will have a meeting, but I just need to verify that.
Okay, great. So personnel.
After the last meeting where we approved the superintendent's contract in principle, Russ Duperre wrote the actual contract, and that's been signed by Rich and by Leslie. There's a slight difference from what I pitched 2 weeks ago, and that is this year, FY24, Leslie's covered by the addendum to the prior, and the new contract will start next July and conclude June of 26, I believe. So the new contract will cover the last 2 years of the 3 years that we approved.
Okay. Any questions? None? Okay. Next up is the building project, with nothing to report there. We're in the audit phase. And then regional ad hoc. Oh, sorry.
You missed safety and safety.
I did. It's up there. Sorry. Sorry, Liz. I tried.
We met on the 17th via Zoom, where we had a discussion about district health update from Kelly Jean Gallagher, who is the head school nurse. She reported that there have been an increase of cases of strep, RSV, flu, A and B, and then sporadic cases of COVID. As Leslie touched upon, they're looking at having COVID tests to be sent out, and we also even discussed the protocol for if you have COVID and if you have symptoms. Though I did mention that I had trouble finding masking, not policy, but masking recommendations anywhere on the school website. But Leslie had confirmed that it's on the nurse's website. We also discussed with Leslie about the district's emergency planning protocol. So this is covering, let me see, fire drills, shelter-in-place drills, lockdown drills, and evacuation primarily. Those 4 are the ones that are hit every year. And she gave us a rundown of the plans that are used, and that the plans are sent to DESE every year, and they're reviewed throughout the year with emergency personnel, as well as at the, I never remember the name of this group, the School Emergency Planning Committee, which is facilitated by Chief Strout, as well as local fire and police personnel, as well as the town safety representatives and then administrators on a monthly basis. We don't have a time for our next meeting at this point, but we are looking to discuss the new food services expanded budget with John Tranfaglia in February, and then in the near future looking at injury and concussion training for sports teams in the spring.
Thanks. Any questions for Liz? Sorry, Liz.
No, you're okay.
So next up is the regional ad hoc.
Right, so we haven't met, but there's been quite a bit of activity back and forth. There was some stuff in your packet. I don't know if you all had a chance to take a look at that. And I'm going to let Rich speak to a lot of it, because I have been pretty busy with my work schedule, and he's been taking on quite a little bit extra, and I appreciate it, Rich.
Well, it's on that spot, actually, because we're getting all the feedback from the towns and trying to address that feedback. I don't think anything yet is going to rise to the level where we need to have another RAC meeting, but we're just holding out there. Hinsdale's response did come back yesterday. So, and there was, quite a few comments, but I don't think there's anything real substantive there. They did also have what Dalton had concerns with, having the pre-K on there. But I went to the Dalton Select Board meeting on Monday, and it, just basically explained that we're not really changing anything in the process. We're just updating the regional agreement to reflect what we do now and also state law. And a lot of the impetus behind this was the vote for this new school. Some of the towns had issues with the way the vote was done, but that language has been updated a little bit. They used Viv Mason from Hinsdale, which was, the town that they used language that she provided, and that's in there. But basically, we still follow the state law. There's just kind of a preference that way. But anyways, we're still waiting for other towns, but I think for the most part, we've heard from, a lot of the towns, and it's been we can address it without having to go back to I think we can address it internally, so far. So we'll make that decision soon. But anyways, Hinsdale was the last one to come back, and I think we're moving along pretty good on that. Any questions, concerns? Yeah, Dick.
So what happens when, for example, are we going to close comments from the towns in, say, a week or two? And then what happens?
Yeah, it's going to come back, the school committee has to approve it.
So,
and then
and I understand the consultant has seen some of or all the comments?
Yes, yeah. They're essentially relying on those guys to address the comments, and Russ, between our legal counsel and Mars, has been basically hitting all the comments and responding to the towns through us.
We'll see, sometime the school committee will get the composite of everything that they've agreed to, apparently.
Yep.
And we'll have that a week or so, or sometime prior to us voting. Is that the next step? That we will vote?
Yep.
To approve?
Right. And then I think from there it goes to DESI, and with Mara's direction, it should be approved by DESI, no problem. And then it gets on the town ballots, so to be voted on the towns. So hopefully, like I said, we don't have anything real substantive that we got to go back to the towns and pull them all together again. I think, so far it's been pretty easy to manage the responses. There's been a couple good ones, like the ones from Covington had some good feedback, and so I think they take those into account. So, yeah.
Did all of the comments go to Mars, whether they were?
Yeah, we're not doing any editing.
Frivolous or not?
Yeah,
Yes.
they see them all. Yeah.
All the comments went to Mars, and all the comments have also gone to Russ. So
Right.
they've been vetted through both.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to profess to be an expert in. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't pretend to be one. So, yeah, going right through those guys. So, yeah, which gives me confidence that we're in the right spot. With their feedback. So, anybody else? Okay. Then just the superintendent evaluation ad hoc.
We have not met. We will have a meeting with Leslie in February, but that date has not been determined yet.
Okay. All right. Wow. Any old business? Any new business? Marks for good of the committee?
I do have one.
Okay.
My usual thing, as schools match wits, our team will be on TV in March. I believe it's, February 23rd, I believe is the date. So we'll be able to watch them live, supporting our school and doing a wonderful presentation as they usually do.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Can I get, sorry, Mike?
Previous chairmen have always sort of competed for the shortest meeting that there's ever been. Congratulations.
I think it's the 2 meetings a month thing, and then it was, just fell into my hands. I'm not going to take credit for it, but I like it. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So, second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.